Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Jafar Show. Very happy to be with you again. So we're going to talk about anti-Semitism. Are you anti-Semite? Did you say anything about the Jew? Did you not say anything about the Jew? If you have any Jew around you and you happen to fart, sneeze, or burp, you may be called anti-Semite. Today, we're going to have two great examples for you. Two of my favorite media figures. One of them is a journalist, and the second one is attorney. Can you guess? Yes, Mr. Piers Morgan and Mr. Yugger Chenk. We're going to talk about their experience with anti-Semitism. I have some very good examples for you. It's really interesting how everybody can be put in that bracket. Very easy. And it's very interesting that that world has been just given to anybody and everybody who says anything about the Jew. Not about the Jew, about Israel, about the state of Israel. That's what's the confusion. And that's why we're also going to have Professor John Mearsheimer. Who better than Professor John Mearsheimer to summarize it for us and to give us another idea about anti-Semitism. Why is there any anti-Semitism, and what is the definition of anti-Semitism nowadays? Stay with us. We will be right back. Thank you for coming back. Now we're going to talk about anti-Semitism with two experiences that I really would like to share with you, Mr. Piers Morgan and Mr. Yugger Chenk. First, let's start with Mr. Piers Morgan. And for that, I want to tell you a little bit about him. He's a very famous journalist, as you know. He's been around for a long time. He works in many networks in the past, in ITV, in CNN. Right now, he has the Piers Morgan Show, one of the most successful shows on the internet. So he's a very famous figure. As far as I'm concerned, I respect him a lot. I respect his experience. I respect the fact that he was anti-war for the Iraq war. Everybody knows that about him. He made a stand for that. And he said, hey, we had 1 million people that died for nothing. Where are the weapons of mass destructions? All the WMDs that we were talking about, we couldn't find anything. So that was one of the stands that he took. He also works for Good Morning Britain, and I believe he got fired because of some comments he made about the prince and the princess. And that also tells me that he's a gentleman who stands for his word no matter what are the repercussions. So all my respect to that, Mr. Piers. We're going to talk about his experience. We're going to talk about what he went through. And for that, I would like to give you a little bit of background how he started with Israeli-Palestine crisis. First, when October 7 happened, and I'm saying first like this, that's the first thing that ever happened. First, when October 7 happened, he was like most of journalists in the UK, in the US, they were very upset that Israel is put in this situation. Now they have the right to defend themselves. Hamas did that to them. They killed so many of the Israelis, so many civilians, so many innocent people. He was with the stand, he was with the stand that Israel need to defend itself. How much are they going to defend themselves? And what is the definition of defend themselves? That is what he was going through. He started watching what's going on, just like everybody else. We started seeing the destruction. We started seeing the lives that are lost, civilian lives that are killed under the rebel for no reason. So he started changing his view. And he started saying, okay, guys, I think this is not a proportionate answer. And here when we say proportionate, remember what we talked about it before in the previous episodes. One life is worth all humanity. And I hope I'm not talking like idealistic. It is true that one person, if he was the closest person to you, you'll be saying, no, I don't want that to happen. No, thank you. This is my wife. This is my husband. This is my child. I need to keep them. No, I'm not fighting for any cause. Just you're going to make my loved ones go away just because you want to fight for that cause. Many will tell you, yes, I will give anybody away for that cause, but we're not the same. Not everybody is alike. Some people value human life, and most people do value human life. And one human life, as far as I'm concerned, is worth all humanity. This is not only me. A lot of people say the same thing. One human life is worth all humanity. So any situation that puts us where a human life is going to be lost, then that is not the right solution. So we will go back to our subject. Mr. Piers Morgan, a very promising journalist. He started with Israel, favoring Israel, saying they have the right to defend themselves. After he saw what Israel is doing, then he turned his tone. He's like, no, this is too much. guys, what are you doing? And when you say something like that, of course, you're going to be called against the Israeli propaganda now. Now you're not in favor of us anymore. And guess what? The easiest word that's going to be thrown on anybody, of course, you are an anti-Semite because you are hosting some guests that are anti-Semite. They express anti-Semitic feelings. They express that they are against Israel. And here, pay attention to this, against Israel, not even against a Jew. And here's the funny part. You can be a Jew and you can still be called anti-Semite. This is how much we got here. So Mr. Piers Morgan, after he changed his tone, the peak when he really started getting accusations, when he really started being attacked from left and right from officials, especially Israeli sympathizers, after he had an interview debate where he hosted Miss Natasha House, I believe that's her name. She is Israeli sympathizer, a lawyer, attorney in the UK. She's actually a British citizen, part of an organization, I believe, Attorneys for Israel, something like that. So she's very clear an Israeli sympathizer. So when he hosted her in this show, he interrupted her. Yes, he did. But have you seen him when he does host somebody who does not want to say that they condemn Hamas? Have you seen that before? If somebody comes to Piers Morgan's show, he put them in the test at the beginning, if he's talking about the subject. He tell them this question: do you condemn Hamas? And I like my favorite, one of my favorite comedians, Mr. Bassem Youssef. When he goes to his show and he also say the same thing. Do you condemn Hamas? I condemn Hamas. You condemn Hamas? We condemn Hamas. Okay, everybody condemn Hamas. Now, can we talk about the subject? Now, can we move on? But we're going to be stuck to that condemn. Who condemn Hamas? And do you condemn Hamas? Do you really condemn him? And October 7, like that's the first thing that ever happened. Like the occupation didn't start since 1967. We're happy about 1967 borders. We do want Israel to exist. We do want also Palestine to exist in the 1967 borders. That's all what we want. We're peaceful people. We don't want anybody to be hurt. We want to stop the war. We want everybody to be happy in both sides. As a matter of fact, Palestine can be a prosperous country full of science, full of medicine, for agriculture. Those people are very brilliant. And the same thing for Israel. You guys can lead the world and tell us, okay, a lot about agriculture, about how you do your water systems, how about you are so good at so many things. So let us know. Let's compete on those good things. 77 years of all this fighting, it didn't get us nowhere. So the only solution, we're going to get to the 67 border solution. And guys, I believe that we're being tracked from our main goal here. The main goal here is the 67 borders solution. Because what we're doing here is a lot of times I see just like the Democrats and the Republicans. Hey, the Democrats are so bad. So guess what? No, the Republicans are so bad. So guess what? No, we're not going to do it. Sometimes there are some very good projects for the country and we end up not doing it because it's coming from this side or on this side, and this side they vote no, and this side they vote no. And people like me and you, guess what we get? Nada. Zit. Okay. So we're going to go to Mr. Piers Morgan. I'm going to show you a part of this debate that he had with Miss Natasha. It's very interesting what she's saying. And it's very interesting how she's defending the Israeli side. It's unbelievable. It's like defending the undefendable. And here she kind of got caught. That's what it is. And guys, when we're talking about the subjects, I noticed the views are not that many. Is it not being the YouTube video? Is it not being put as much as the other YouTube videos? Every time I talk about something really sensitive, I noticed that it hasn't been put that much. And if I talk about something else, Russia, Ukraine, thousands of views. So help me, please help us so we can get this 67 solution out to the world. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you this video, just a little clip about the debate with Mr. Piers Morgan and Natasha. And it's going to get heated. He's going to be talking about how many children have been killed. She's not going to give him a number, but she's going to tell him I have a ratio of people who have been killed from here and there and there. And he's like, how can you have a ratio and you don't have the number? The math doesn't add up. It's very simple. How can you have a ratio and you don't have the numbers? Then she's also going to be saying, well, the aid was diverted from here and there. I want you to watch it because it's a very interesting conversation. Stay with us. Let's watch this together, please.
When Israel and when the Israeli government, let me phrase that correctly, when the Israeli government ordered 3 months ago a blockade of food and aid going into Gaza,
yes,
that is a deliberate state-sponsored form of starving a populace.
No, it is not, because
That's exactly what happened. That's why they look like they're starving. That's why they're risking death.
Piers, you've asked me
to
on
get
here.
to scrabbling bits of food.
Forgive me. You've asked me on here to answer these questions.
And I can challenge you.
And I just explained that blockade, which was imposed in order to prevent Hamas continuing to fuel its war machine by selling additional aid, that it was diverting, and we'll come on to the way that diversion is going to be prevented in the future, I hope. But the fact of the matter is that this blockade was instituted in the context of there being 5 to 6 months, maybe even 8 months of aid that was facilitated into the Gaza Strip. And throughout, if you'll allow me to finish this point, throughout the war, the volume of aid that Israel has facilitated into Gaza, and this is not being reported by the international media, but it is available, publicly available information published by COGAT, over 1,700,000 tons of aid which has been facilitated into the Gaza Strip, which is more than required for the civilian population. The study that was conducted.
Why are they so hungry then?
The study that was conducted.
Hang on, why are they so hungry?
May I finish this point and I'll come on to answer your question.
Why are they so hungry?
Well,
Why are they stampeding over each other?
They're just pretending to be hungry, maybe.
To get at scraps of food. I don't understand. If they're all so well nourished and Israel's behaved so impeccably properly in terms of supplying enough food for months on end, why do they all look like they're starving to death and are prepared to risk actually dying to get at food?
What you are basing your assessment on, I'm afraid,
it's what I'm seeing with my own eyes.
Which is Hamas propaganda, which you must accept as the
No, it's actually footage. I'm watching news footage of thousands of people fighting with each other to get at food, some of whom ended up dying, some of whom ended up being shot. The IDF says it wasn't them and it was Hamas. We don't know who did it because, as you know, the Israeli government has banned all international journalists from being anywhere near this to verify what is actually happening.
Piers Morgan, you're not allowing me to answer a single question.
I am. And then when you say something that I don't agree with, I'm challenging you.
I'm sure I'm going to say a lot that you don't agree with because, unfortunately, your assessment is being based on misinformation, like these false reports we've had today of Israel shooting 31 Palestinians attempting to get to food. That was run, and Ambassador Mike Huckabee has criticised this resoundingly in a statement just now. That was run in the context of the Associated Press, CNN, many media outlets. And it was entirely false because it is, as has been the case previously.
Hang on, the Israeli government says it was entirely false. What we have had... Sorry, just to correct you...
It's not just the Israeli government.
Sorry to jump in again.
No, it's also the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
Israel has done one of its own reports because journalists aren't allowed to verify this independently. So Israel investigates itself and has decided it did nothing wrong.
I'm not referring to Israel's investigation.
Hang on. What we do know is that a number of doctors and hospital spokesmen and charity spokesmen have all said that there were many people killed and many more people wounded taken to hospitals, and they saw the bodies and they saw the wounded. So somebody was killing and wounding a lot of Palestinians. You say it was Hamas. Hamas say it was the IDF. We, the international media, cannot verify this because Israel doesn't allow us in to do our job.
That's not why this reporting has been conducted on such a false basis. It's because nothing coming out of the Gaza Strip is able to be reported without Hamas control. And you, as part of the international media, Piers, will know this. I
also know that historically Israel has accepted that the health authorities' numbers, historically, before October the 7th, that they have been broadly accurate. That is the historical position.
You must also know that the assessments of Hamas casualty figures by experts and statisticians have found them to be preposterously inaccurate, fabricated.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you what I asked you.
No, you're not allowing me to finish a single answer.
Well, I can actually conduct this interview anywhere I like.
Well, then the viewers aren't going to get any benefit of
the viewers can make their own mind up about what they're hearing and seeing. When I interviewed the UK ambassador to the UK,
yes,
she was able to tell me definitively that 30,000 Hamas terrorists had been killed.
I think it was an estimate, let's be clear.
But she had absolutely no idea, estimate or otherwise, how many children had been killed in the process. Do you know?
There's a very simple logical explanation for that, which is Israel is targeting Hamas and Palestinian.
Do you know how many children Israel's killed in the process?
There is a very simple explanation for the reason that we do not know. Because
you only count the terrorists you killed, not the children?
Hear the explanation?
Well, I just ask you, just to be clear, are you saying that the IDF only counts the bodies of terrorists it kills, not innocent children.
Well, the IDF has not been, and this is a shift now, as you will have heard from Jonathan Conricus, has not been in control of any significant part of Gaza to be able to conduct that analysis.
So how does it know how many terrorists it's killing?
Because it is striking them with clear intelligence and targeting those strikes deliberately.
So it counts the bodies of the terrorists, but not the children
No,
it kills in the process.
It counts. I'm sorry, this is perfectly logical.
It's actually not logical at all.
It counts.
To anyone watching this, they're thinking, what on earth are these Israelis saying? First the ambassador, now you. What you're saying is that you only count the terrorists that are killed. You don't count the children that are killed in the process of killing the terrorists.
Perhaps
to which it begs the question,
No, I can provide you with some additional analysis.
Why?
If you'll allow me to answer the question, I'll provide you with some additional analysis, which is in relation to the casualty ratios that have been projected.
How do you know the ratios?
I'll explain. The casualty ratio throughout the first period of the war, phase 1, was generally put at between 1 to 1 and 1.5 to 1. I'll explain. Since then, in phase 2, because of a very different type of fighting that we're now seeing, there are some estimates that it may have gone up to 2 to 1.
How do you know?
Very simply, that Israel has been able to establish...
How do you know if you're not counting?
May I answer the question?
Well, you're not counting the civilians you're killing, so how do you know the ratio?
Well, if you're not going to allow me to
talk about logic. Let me go to... I want to bring Dave...
No,
I don't know.
You've just asked me the question.
I've let you speak for a long time. Dave
No,
is...
you haven't, Piers.
Well, I have, and I'll let you speak again. We've got plenty of time here.
I'm sorry, but...
There's not much... No, I'm sorry, but it's my show. I'm going to go to Dave.
And that's how it went, ladies and gentlemen. As you heard, Miss Natasha is really defending the undefendable. How can you defend that the aid has been diverted? Yes, it has been diverted, by the way, and it has been proven that there have been some gangs that were working for Israel, that there was an instance, for example, for 100 trucks, they were able to get 80 trucks out of it. And we are accusing in the UN, hey, most of the aid is going to Hamas. 85% of the aid is going to Hamas. That's what Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu was saying in the UN. Well, guess what? It may be true, it may be not, but the people are not getting the food. That's the bottom line. And even until now, until today, they are still not getting the food. The health authorities, for example, in Gaza, they're saying they're only getting 10% of what's needed. Where are these trucks? Where is the crossing of Rafah? When is it gonna open? When are all these trucks are gonna arrive? I know that we've been talking about the hostages, the dead hostages' bodies that haven't been recovered, but on the same time, where is the equipment for it to be recovered? First, they say the Turks are gonna bring their equipment. They say no, we don't want Turkish equipment here. Then we said, okay, we're gonna get some Egyptian equipment. Okay, now the Egyptian equipment is there, but still they need help to get those bodies from under the rubble that you did from American bombs, unfortunately from our bombs. By the way, if not all, most Americans that I know, they do not want to send any bombs anywhere. Most Americans that I know, they just want to fix their own country. They just want to take that money that goes for the bombs and invest it in their own schools. But I'm going to go back to our subject. Mr. Piers Morgan, he got a lot of heat after this debate. And I'm going to show you a few clips about the heat that he got, to the point that he's gonna get fed up at the end. He's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna show you, it's gonna get hotter and hotter and hotter. So just bear with me. I also think it's a very interesting conversation, because you see how they are defending the undefendable. How can you defend that seriously? And that's what he was saying. He was saying, if this is a lawyer that's debating for a living, why are you guys blaming me that I am interrupting her for a few times? And like I told you, when he does hold somebody that he does not say that he does condemn Hamas right at the beginning, Mr. Piers Morgan, he will not let him finish any sentence. He will be like, I just say yes, you're terrorists. You're not gonna condemn Hamas? You okay with all what happened? You okay with the pictures of those children dead? You okay for this and this and this and that? And he will stop him. That, of course, they're not gonna talk about it. They're only saying, why are you interrupting Miss Natasha, as if I don't know what he did. And honestly, it was a good debate, because he's making sense to me personally. And please, ladies and gentlemen, please let me know, what do you think? Do you think he's making sense? Do you think I'm making sense? And by the way, I really need you here to do some commentaries for me, because the show, up to you, this show is not going to go anywhere without you. So please, I really need your help. I humbly need your help. This is a show that's basically the production is from Humble myself. The sponsorship is from Your Love and Humble myself. The lighting is from Humble myself. The editing from Humble myself. The publishing from Humble myself. Everything is from Humble myself. Oh, please, I need some help. I need you guys to help me. If you cannot help with anything, the minimum that you can do is please just push that ring button, that bell button, push that like button, and also make sure you are subscribed so you can get these videos all the time. You can get notifications. It's very important. I will also ask, if you don't mind, just send me some commentaries. Just in the bottom right there, write me, do you think what we're doing is making sense or not? Should I even stop this show? Should I keep going with this show? I need your help, ladies and gentlemen, please. If you cannot do anything, just click those buttons. If you can help, please let me know. Contact me. Let me know how we can make this show grow and get even better and reach more people. Because at the end is a message of peace. At the end is a message of saving lives. Is a message of saying we're all equal. Nobody is better than anybody. And until everybody understand that, we're not going to have peace, unfortunately. But we will keep talking about it until we get that peace. We're almost there. We're almost there. Let's keep our fingers crossed in Palestine and Israel. I just want us to be focused on the 67 borders. Anybody who tells you anything, like I used to have this friend of mine in the past, he will be like, anything you tell him, he'll be like, yes, 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 yes. How about, and he goes back to the issue that we're talking about. Same thing when I tell you. If somebody tells you anything, how about the 67 borders? Yeah, yeah, yeah. There is the pictures are fake. Yeah, yeah. But how about the 67 borders? Yes, yes. Hamas are. I know the terrorists and they're doing so much bad stuff. How about the 67 borders? Yes, yes. I'll get you. All yeah. How about the 67 borders? We need to go back to that. And as far as Hamas, let's think about it. Somebody who's born in year 2005. By the time we're out of 2023, he's already what? 18 years old. Imagine. This guy is born in an environment of being in a Hamas member. You are a hero. This guy didn't do anything bad. This guy is just born in that environment, and that's how he grew up. So we need to separate here between Hamas members who just found themselves in that situation and between Hamas members who committed crimes. The ones who committed crimes, just like in the IDF, we already agreed that they need to be judged and taken to court accordingly. IDF and Hamas members. The ones that he did not do anything, there are some members in the IDF that are fighting for their country. And there are some members in Hamas that they think they are only resistant fighters. They didn't commit any crimes. They didn't kill any babies. They didn't kill any elder. They didn't kill anybody. So they're like, hey, I just grow up. I know that my uncle was in Hamas, my brother was in Hamas, my father was in Hamas. Being in Hamas is the best thing to be in this region, so I grew up being in Hamas. So that's why we shouldn't, guys, just generalize everybody. And unfortunately, this is happening in families. In families, we don't agree on things like that. In every society, in every culture, in every country, there is the good, the bad, and the ugly. You cannot generalize. You cannot say, hey, everybody. I had just lately an argument with my own uncle about this nationality, not Israel, not Palestine, something else. And he was telling me they're not good. And I'm like, uncle, come on, how can you say that? You're an educated person. This is a whole country saying they're not good. How come? In every country, there is the good and there's the bad and there's the... No, they're all not good. Imagine, this is inside the family. So we need to grow from that, and we need to know that nobody is better than anybody, and we cannot just make judgment and judge everybody. Right now, if you want to make a judgment, make it a positive one. Say what's good about people. If we're going to say what's bad about people, guess what? We start from ourselves, because there's a lot of bad about ourselves to begin with. It's not good to just be talking about the other side. And right now, anybody who talks to you about the good or bad, what are we going to take him back to? How about the 67 borders? That's what's important. So let's go ahead and watch this other video right here. Now the heat is going to go up a little bit with Miss Natasha. So Mr. Piers is going to talk a little bit more about the illegal settlement. She's going to tell him, oh, no, the illegal settlement, that is just a political term. Wow, look at how we get out of it. You know, to be a lawyer, you know, very eloquent speaker. You know, she knows how to talk. I can tell that she's a good lawyer. But as far as being for the right cause in humanity, I don't know about that, to be honest with you. And this is what happens sometimes. You find yourself, hey, I am an Israeli, so I'm going to defend that country no matter what. No. I know that there is even a saying in Arabic that says, unsur akhaka daliman aw madluma, which means basically be with your brother no matter if they are right or wrong. You need to be with them. You need to side with them. But here's the explanation of that we need to pay attention to. Siding with them doesn't mean that you make them do more wrong. Siding with them means that you need to give them the good advice to tell them, hey, brother, what you're doing is wrong. You cannot keep doing that. And here's how we're going to fix it. That's being a good brother. Not siding with them by, oh, I know he killed innocent people, but what can I do? Yeah, he's my brother. No, that makes you actually inside the crime yourself. So we're going to watch this video and just see how she's going to turn from that illegal settlement. And also he's going to be talking about your own people are criticizing you. And he's going to be referring to the prime minister, the ex-prime minister of Israel, Mr. Ehud Barak. He was also a defense minister for a certain time. And he's against the Israeli government right now. So basically, Mr. Piers Morgan is telling her, well, how come your own people are against? She's going to tell him, well, because he's better, because he's been in this kind of court and this and this and that. Let's listen to it, ladies and gentlemen.
Israel's war aims have been clear from the outset, which is the destruction of Hamas.
They haven't done
and the
that.
return of the hostages. Well, because the war's not over yet.
You haven't done either of those things. All you're doing is killing more and more civilians, and you've been starving them.
Well, who's you? Forgive me. I'm here as a lawyer.
The Israeli government, and you're here to defend it, right?
No, I'm here to defend the rule of law and the weaponization of international law, which has been consistent throughout this process. The propaganda that we're discussing right now, which is clearly what has shifted your position and perspective on this,
what do you mean by propaganda?
Is deeply dangerous. Calling Israel a committer of genocide or saying that it is starving children.
Well, actually, the people alleging that Israel's committing war crimes are two former Israeli prime ministers.
Who have their own political agendas here. Let's be clear.
How convenient that two former prime ministers of the country have said that you are committing, as a government, not you, but the government is committing war crimes, and you dismiss it as just a bit of internal politics.
Well, no, it's a very serious matter that the misinformation that I would like to be able to come on to address is now also being propagated by two very sore individuals, Prime Minister Olmert, because he also served a prison sentence, and has had his entire proposed peace framework, that of essentially creating a Palestinian state in East Jerusalem and the West Bank, turned upside down by the realization, and he hasn't had, unfortunately, the temerity after the 7th of October to recognize the risk that he would have put Israel to in light of the Hamas takeover.
And when you see, as we saw, and when you see, Natasha,
I was answering the previous question.
Okay, but let me just on the point of legality. Actually, it's very productive. On the point of legality, only last week the Israeli government announced new settlements, 22 settlements.
Well, no,
it's also funny.
Hang on. Yes. On the West Bank, 22 settlements, which the international community views as illegal. They announced 22 new settlements. As a lawyer, given your adherence to the point of law, presumably you would condemn that.
Well, this is exactly why we need to be clear about how international law applies and why the notion of these so-called illegal settlements is a misnomer.
You don't think they are?
It's not a legal term, it's a political term, and it is part and parcel of a misapplication of international law to the status of the territory. These blood libels, occupation, ethnic cleansing, colonialism,
so you think the settlements are not illegal?
And genocide are all part and parcel of the propaganda, which I would like to be able to come on to, because all of the evidence goes in completely the opposite direction. In terms of Israel's compliance with the laws of armed conflict and its in the amount of steps that Israel takes, unprecedented in the history of armed conflict, and military commanders
that's just a load of bullshit. I'm sorry, it just is.
Which other army?
It just is. Which other war in recent times have you had half the population is under 18 and you've killed 20,000 kids in 20 months?
Those figures are Hamas figures that you are constantly
give me an example of where this morality has been played out elsewhere.
Well, I was explaining earlier that the Hamas figures are inflated, that there are internal inconsistencies.
How convenient for you. You don't know what the figures are, so how do you know?
That because there have been independent studies.
How do you know how many figures are inflated or otherwise? You don't know how many have been killed.
Because we know Hamas lies. It is an internationally prescribed terrorist organisation.
Well, some might think you're lying, because you say on one hand, I don't know how many children have been killed, but on the other hand, and that's a blood libel if you say we've killed any of them, but on the other hand...
That's not what I said, no.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you know all about the ratios, and you know how humane the Israeli forces are being, but you don't know how many they're killing.
Because even on Hamas figures, which we know to be false, which do not make distinctions between
civilians and
You don't know they're false? We do, because there
How do you know they're false? You don't know how many have been killed?
Because Hamas has even itself revised those figures down and acknowledged that they are false. And the UN is still touting.
So how many children has Israel killed?
If we go back to the question...
Can you answer my question?
If you go back to the ratio...
Do you know my...
No, but I can tell you the ratio, even on the basis of Hamas figures.
You can tell me the ratio without... But how do you know if you don't know how many have died?
I can tell you the ratio even on the basis of the false Hamas figures.
You've no idea how many have been killed, but you can tell me the ratio.
I can tell you the ratio.
You're a smart lawyer. Do you not understand how ridiculous that sounds? If we were in a courtroom now, you would be demolished by a fellow lawyer. They would say, what are you talking about?
Piers, this is not how courtroom etiquette is conducted, I'm afraid. I would be
Actually, some of my favourite lawyers conduct them exactly like this.
I would be permitted to finish a sentence. The reason we can say that the ratio before the ceasefire was 1 to 1 or 1.15 to 1 is on the basis even of Hamas figures. 1 to 1 to 1.5 to 1. At different points in that period, those were the two separate estimates. And that is on the basis of Hamas. But to know that, you'd have to know how many innocent people you've killed as well. That is on the basis of the false Hamas figures. So the reality is that the expectation would be the ratio is
in fact lower than that. You don't believe that, so what is the number?
The reality is that the expectation would be the numbers are even less than that. That, in any event, is unprecedented in the history of urban armed conflict. So it puts the lie to all of these accusations that we have been hearing. And the reason, let me finish this sentence, if you will. The reason that it is so terrible, that it is so dangerous that these lies are being spread about Israel, that even you and other respected international journalists have begun to propagate them, is that it is having a direct
impact. Me a liar?
No, that you have been taken in by them.
Really?
Is because it is having a direct impact on the safety of Jews around the world. We've seen the impact of 14,000 babies in 48 hours when 2 Israeli staffers were murdered, executed on the streets of DC. Only yesterday we saw a fire attack.
What was the link? What was the link there? Are you saying that the person?
2 days after
are you saying the person that perpetrated that appalling murder was actually even aware of the story you're talking about? You're drawing a direct link.
The Chicagan that committed that murder shouted "Free Palestine," and this is for Gaza.
You mentioned something about 48,000 babies.
2 days after that full story went around the world.
It was a full story because the idiot that came out with it should have known better. I didn't promote that in any way at all, other than to say...
But you are promoting false allegations of starvation and targeting civilians.
No, I'm promoting the fact that Israel's government launched a 3-month blockade, which has led to people starving.
Without the context of 25,000 tonnes of trucks of aid having been provided before that.
Dave.
Facts without context are misleading.
Okay, that's how it went. That's part of it. There's a lot of other parts with this debate with Miss Natasha that went hot and hot and hot. But this is what I thought that will be interesting for us. I want you to see how is she arguing with him some very, very obvious facts. People are starving in Gaza. The occupation in Gaza, very obvious things. But still, she's trying to find her way around it. This is the peak where after this interview that she had with Mr. Piers Morgan started getting so many attacks. I mean, he was already getting attacks, but this time it's got even more and more. We've been hearing it from officials. We've been hearing it from guests, so many guests. They come, oh, you've been harsh on Natasha. Oh, you've been harsh on Natasha. And I'm going to give you just a few examples right here. Let's watch
There
this
were
together.
many questions about Natasha House, though. A lot of people feel that you were disrespectful.
The fact that you will not allow me to answer a single question.
You know what? You've made all your points, and they all, I'm afraid, Natasha,
I certainly
turned out to be bullshit.
And I have to say, having watched it, I think you're a very good interviewer, but you interrupted her so much, she never really had a chance to make her point, which I thought was, for me, going a bit far. What do you say?
I probably interrupted her a bit too much, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think that really achieves a lot when it happened. She was annoying me. I mean, there was a moment when she was trying to cast doubt over the family of 9 kids out of 10 who died in an airstrike. And I just thought at that stage, if you're going to try and cast doubt over that,
how can you?
It just enraged me so much. So yeah, I probably was a little bit intemperate, a little bit over-argumentative. Sometimes I get like that. Sometimes I'm, as you can see, I'm a mellow individual. Very happy to have a long conversation with no raised voices and no interruption.
There you go. You saw that he's already being attacked. If he gets somebody who doesn't say anything about Hamas attacking in October 7, he will chew him up. He will not let him answer anything. And many people, what they want to say, they go there and they say, well, we don't condemn Hamas. We condemn the acts that they did on that day. They were a crime. But as far as a resistance, as far as a movement that's resisting the occupation, we don't condemn that. And like we talked about it, ladies and gentlemen, earlier, there are some people who are born in that environment. Imagine somebody who is born in year 2005. That's when Hamas basically took over. When Hamas took over was in 2005. When somebody is born at that age, what do you expect they're going to grow up to be? Again, remember episode what, 2 or 3? A dentist, like Mr. Obama, what did he say? When somebody is growing in an environment where everybody's a freedom fighter, your uncle is freedom fighter, everybody's cheering this freedom fighter, what do you think you want to be? It is true. It's very simple. We are a product of our environment. It takes a lot to get out of that environment. It takes a lot of awareness, a lot of education. It takes a lot of conditions that can help you get out of those kind of environments. And again, when you think about it, anybody who has an occupied country, if you are among the resistance, that's a holy thing to do. That's an honorable thing to do. Imagine if you have been attacked in your country. Wouldn't you fight for your country? That's what they're doing. And that's why we want to stop this fight. Again, we're going to go back to what? 67. 67 borders. Again, remind me, Jafar, 67 borders. All right. Now I want to show you this clip where it's going to get even more heated. This is one of the Israeli ministers. Okay. So he's basically going to tell him again, hey, you've been tough on Miss Natasha. However, right after that, Mr. Piers Morgan is almost going to get fed up. He's going to be like, come on, man. You think I'm bullying you? You think I'm bullying her? And I want you to hear this. It's really interesting. Let's see.
Oh, what a load of crap. You never watch my show, do you?
And
you don't think I've ever interrupted pro-Palestinian
like Natasha House, amazing Natasha House, you are treating her as a bully. You're treating her as a bully.
Really?
Harassing her later on in parties. This is very embarrassing.
Am I bullying you then?
And
am I bullying
by the way,
you now?
Your decision.
You think I harassed her at a party? Is that what you just said? Is that what you just said?
You went and said she wouldn't talk to me. So,
listen to this.
Wow.
I'm saying once again.
Wow, that's quite a claim.
You are blocking.
You were there, were you? Were you there for that? Did you watch it?
You said she wouldn't talk to you.
Did you see what happened?
You were mocking her on Twitter.
I didn't harass anybody.
Did you mock her on Twitter because she didn't talk to you?
Yeah, and by the way, I've interrupted you as much as I've interrupted her. So am I bullying you, Minister?
Am I bullying you? Mr. Piers Morgan, he has this famous sentence he always says, this argument is for the birds. Not this time, he didn't say. So as you can see, he's being attacked just because he had that debate with Miss Natasha. Let me show you how Mr. Morgan got fed up.
You, Minister?
Look, I don't care about bullying.
You?
I'm a warrior.
Am I bullying you?
Look.
Am I bullying you?
It's
yes
very
or no?
hard to talk with you.
Am I bullying you?
He's got enough.
I'm bullying you.
Are a bully.
Oh, you're being bullied?
At the moment.
Oh, you poor thing. I hope you're okay.
It's very hard to speak.
You know
it's
what?
Very hard to speak.
I'll let you go.
Okay.
I'm so sorry for your hurt feelings. I hope you're okay. It's amazing how easily bullied you all are.
Excellent.
When you're asked difficult questions, look, you all play the victim card. You all start saying, I'm bullying you.
No, I'm not playing the victim.
Yeah, funny enough, you didn't do that when I went after people that wouldn't condemn Hamas. You all cheered me on, didn't you? That wasn't bullying. When I was interrupting them and going after them, that you thought was great interrogating journalism. But the moment I come after you guys, I criticise you for indefensible actions you're now doing in Gaza, suddenly I'm a bully. You see how pathetic that sounds?
And there you go. So that can tell you right there what Mr. Piers Morgan has been going through. And this is not only this, this is just a little taste, little example of what he has been going through. This is the price of if you want to change your mind. And if you want to say, no, Israel, I am with you, but not in this. Israelis, I don't know what they want. So they want people to follow them even if when they're wrong. That's not going to happen because there are honest people in the world. You cannot buy everybody. Some people say, no, I'd rather be feeling good, feeling comfy, go sleep at night than get money from Israel and say the wrong thing. So this is the example of Mr. Piers Morgan. There is another example that I would like to share with you today. Mr. Cenk Uygur. He's a Turkish by origin. He was born in Turkey, but now he's an American citizen. He is one of the famous media commentator in the alternative media. He, the co-founder, I believe, on TYT. Also, Mr. Cenk Uygur is one of my favorite people, debaters, in the world. Honestly, I love him. I love what he say. I don't agree with him in everything. There are things I disagree with him. For example, when he makes fun of people's appearance, of Marco Rubio's ears, when he makes fun of Rabbi Shmuley's, he called him, I believe, a baboon. And Rabbi Shmuley was like, "Oh, you're calling the Jewish a baboon?" Then he's like, "No, I'm calling you a baboon, not the Jew. I love the Jewish people." So he's clear. He wants Israel to exist in the 67 borders peacefully, and he wants also Palestinians to live peacefully. Who doesn't want that? And anybody who doesn't want that, seriously, what do you want? You want just oppress those Palestinians forever? What is your solution? If you don't want to give them the citizenship as an Israeli citizen, what else can you offer? What? You want them to be dispersed? That's not going to happen. That's not fair. They already dispersed in 1948. Remember, 1 million went all over. Jordan, we have 750,000 that went that time in 1948. Now we had to Egypt, Lebanon, to Syria, all of those refugees until now. What, we're going to add more? No, these people actually, they need to go back if we want to be fair with them. So I'm just saying that people who are not with the 67 solution, I just want to hear from you guys. And if you are with the 67 solution, I also want to hear from you guys. So please remember to leave some commentaries and tell us, what do you think? Is the 67 border solution, is it fair for the Palestinians? Is it okay? Please let us hear from it. So if you guys think that I had some courage, some people were reaching out to me, and thank you so much for encouraging me, by the way, for doing the show. Some people were telling me that I do have some courage for doing the show. Guess what, guys? Mr. Yugger Chenk has way more courage. He can smoke me far away. There is a lot that I agree with him again, and there's some that I disagree with him. And this is the part where I agree with him, where he's saying, guys, just give the Palestinians a state. Just give them a chance to live an honorable life. So stay with us, please. We're going to go ahead and watch this video very quick. I wanted you to see how the anti-Semitism is getting so far. Now, anything you say about any Jew, you're an anti-Semite. Anything that you say, if you sneeze, if you fart, if you burp in the presence of a Jew, you may be called an anti-Semite. So let's watch this example with Mr. Yugger Chenk, and how is he going to be accused to be an anti-Semite? And again, all the time he keeps saying it. I love the Jew people. He works with Jew people. He knows Jew people. Jew people are part of the American society. Nobody can deny that. And these Jew people, actually, that we know, they happen to be Palestine sympathizers. They happen to say, oh yeah, this is wrong. It shouldn't happen. And I'm going to give you some more examples, guys, because I want to summarize with Professor Mersheimer. And he's going to tell us also that he knows some Jew that actually they are for the cause of freedom of Palestine, for an independent state, like Max Blumenthal, like I believe Aaron Mate, like Jeffrey Sachs, Professor Jeffrey Sachs. I love him when he talks with the smile. Him and Professor John Mearsheimer, they talk with this smile, you know, they make you want to listen to them. And also they are a library of information. So let's watch Mr. Chenk here. Let's see how he's going to be attacked. Okay, stay with us, please.
Israel slaughters. Hold on.
Okay, I mean, it
slaughters
exists.
our children over and over and over again, and all we do is and Piers, this is really important. It's not that the American people are Islamophobic. It's that American media, mainstream media, and almost all the Israeli supporters are the most bigoted, racist people in the country. They despise Muslims. All they do is smear Muslims 24/7 while pretending that they're concerned about bigotry, but only when it affects their beloved Israel. So they're like, oh my God, I'm so concerned
about
anti-Semitism. Oh, you said something slightly true, actually very true about Israel, but it hurt my feelings. You're an anti-Semite, fire him, cancel him, etc. This is all thuggery. There's a bunch of pro-Israeli forces inside America. They've taken over our Congress. They've taken over mainstream media. And not only do they try to smear, cancel, fire, and arrest anyone who criticizes Israel, but on top of that, they now demand that you be racist and bigoted against Muslims. And it's so hilarious.
If you want to be specific with your words,
because Mamdani, hold on, let me finish. So let me finish. So now they go, okay, even though Mamdani has never said anything anti-Semitic, nothing against Jews, and even though the majority of Jews, according to polling, are supporting Mamdani, 67% of younger Jewish Americans in New York, that's under 45, are supporting Mamdani, we're going to lie anyway, and we're going to say, you know what, he's a dirty Muslim, and you should hate him for supporting Muslims. And that's what almost all of the Israeli supporters are doing, almost all of mainstream media, and that sick, disgusting Andrew Cuomo, who's as bigoted as it gets.
All right,
now
Katie.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Why is it that every time someone wants to criticize Mamdani, it immediately comes back to the Jews and the anti-Israel movement instead of actually talking about his viewpoints, which is that he
Nobody
wants to
said
make
Jews. You just said it. You always do that. We say Israel, you say Jews. We say Israel is a government. Please don't make it about Jewish Americans. And you come back and go, you have to make it about Jewish Americans. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Is Israel a Jewish state? Yes or no?
Yeah. First of all, okay, so Saudi Arabia is a Muslim state, and you can criticize it all day long, all day long. There's no special protection
because
for
what you're
Muslims,
doing is
Jews,
you're decoding language
that
to
calls
mock
themselves
American
a Jewish state or a
and to
Muslim
say that we
state.
should not be here and we should not be in existence, and that you would be happy for other people like Mamdani
No,
to use
I want Israel to be safe.
Nothing of the sort.
Nonsense. You're totally lying. It's very normal for a Miller to be completely and utterly lying. That's not true. We want Israel to be a safe haven for Jews, 1967 borders. But you guys say, no, more Palestinian land. Take Gaza, take the West Bank, take southern Lebanon. Your greed knows no bounds. And by the way, you and your husband are supposed to be working for America, not for Israel. I think you're betraying this country.
All right, Cenk, let Katie.
Piers,
all right,
if I can just jump in here
on
on a quick note.
Omar, I'll come to you, but let Katie finish her point, then I'll come to you. Katie.
No, Piers, quite frankly, I'm really sick and tired of this racist, bigoted rhetoric that comes from people like you against my husband, against my family, and my children. I am raising Jewish children in this country.
Who brought your
in which
children
you
into this? What a weirdo.
Piers, I'm going to be done with this if you're going to allow racist and bigoted attacks against one of your commentators just for the sake that he will not
hang on.
speaking.
Casey, to be clear, he inserted
a line that says the Miller's lie. Is that not coded language for therefore we are Jewish? Come on, Piers, where are you?
What?
Where are you standing?
God, you're so
Katie,
pathetic.
if I can speak.
Everything's your
if I can speak,
anti-Semite. Fire him, cancel him, cancel him, America. Oh my God, Israel's feelings have been hurt. Why don't you work for this country?
Can we try and get
this country instead of
All right. As you heard it, that was Mr. Cenk. He doesn't fear anything, and this gentleman is fearless. He said in his point that, hey, when I am criticizing you, I am not criticizing the Jew as in general. And if you criticize Israel and what they do and the mass killing and all what's going on right now in Palestine, it's very easy to call you an anti-Semite. And this is the thing, the funny thing is the Jews themselves, they are being called anti-Semite. Like, for example, in the previous clip that we watched with Miss Natasha, you saw Mr. Dave Smith right next to Piers Morgan. That gentleman is one of the best debaters in the world. And he is a Jew. But yes, he's saying, hey, this is wrong what we're doing here. And I really respect that gentleman, by the way, just for his stand. I respect all the Jews that are actually standing with the Palestinians, because you don't have to stand just with the nation or with the religion that you identify with. You need to stand with the right thing. That's what's important. And if your people are doing the wrong thing, you stand with them by giving them the good advice, by telling them, hey, we need to stop what we're doing. This is not the right thing. Now we're going to listen to the voice of wisdom. We're going to listen to Mr. Professor John Mersheimer. The Professor John Mearsheimer is somebody that I respect a lot from University of Chicago. His stands with the war in Ukraine and Russia, he want the war to end. His stand in the war with Israel and Palestine, he want the war to end. And he's very much a Palestinian sympathizer. We can say that as well. So let's listen to him, because he makes sense. And he's going to tell us actually, why do we have this feeling of anti-Semitism even among the Jews themselves? And is there any difference between the Jews that are in Israel and the Jews that are actually in the United States? So let's listen to him.
I think those who are not religious view Judaism as an ethnicity.
Sure.
You're Jewish, not so much because of the religion, or not just because of the religion, but for ethnic reasons as well. So I think that explains a lot of it. I think a lot of it is just good old-fashioned nationalism, tribalism. I think a lot of American Jews feel that they are part of this Jewish nation, and they identify, therefore, with Israel in really profound ways. I think to take it a step further, a lot of people think that it's the last refuge, that you never know what's going to happen in the West. All these goys may turn on you at some point, and if they do, you want to have Israel as a refuge. So we have to keep Israel in place. I think at this point, Katie, maybe the most important reason is that I think Judaism is a religion, no longer has the bite that it once had. When I was a young boy, I grew up in New York, and I knew lots of Jews, and there was a real religious element to the community. People really cared about Judaism as a religion. And as that has gone away, and this is no great insight on my part, but as that has gone away, Israel has become the religion for many Jews. So if you go to a Reform temple today, what you see are Israeli flags all over the place. And when the rabbi talks, he or she talks about Israel, and everybody in the congregation is made to remember that being Jewish is being loyal to Israel. So if you have somebody like me or any of you who go out and criticize Israel, they're calling you anti-Semitic because they identify Judaism with Israel. Israel has become Judaism in the minds of lots of not so religious Jews, and they're a huge chunk of the population. So I think for all these different reasons, there are a substantial percentage of people in the American Jewish community who are profoundly loyal to Israel and will do whatever they can to support Israel. And they have a, what you might call a my country right or wrong mentality. Deep down, they have to know that committing a genocide or committing mass murder is fundamentally wrong. But they'll justify it because it's my people, right? You know, we did it.
Professor John Mearsheimer explaining to us how the confusion between being a Jew and being an Israeli. This confusion is probably made up most by the Israelis. They want to do that because it's an easy way out. Instead of addressing the issue itself, instead of saying, hey, these people are starving. Oh, no, those are fake pictures, fake videos. Instead of saying, these people are suffering, there's an occupation. Oh, this is our holy land. It's not going to work. We're going to have to share the land again. Back 67 borders, please. Let's go back to the 67 borders. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you this last clip here before we wrap it up for today with Professor John Mearsheimer. Explain to us more about the anti-Semitism. Stay with us, please. Let's listen to this together.
Well, as you know, many of the people who were engaged in the protests in the spring of 2024 were Jewish. You have groups like Jewish Voice for Peace. You know, I do Judge Napolitano every week, and Jeff Sachs, Adam Mate, and Max Blumenthal are all Jewish. So the idea that all Jews support what Israel is doing is simply not true. And some of the principal opponents of what the Israelis are doing are Jews or Jewish groups like Jewish Voice for Peace. So there's no question about that. And I actually think most people are attuned to that fact, that this is not Jews against Palestinians. It may be the case in Israel that that's true, but certainly not in the wider world, and certainly not here in the United States.